In this video, I'll be talking about the YouTube commentary community Iceberg. Now, in hopes to prevent this video from being excessively long, I'm going to attempt to give a detailed explanation in a brief delivery, which I hope doesn't take away from the overall video. Now, I do think it's fitting to use CSGO surfing gameplay for this video, for the majority of it anyway, just because I do really think that it represents commentary as a whole, or at least the gaming commentary community, or the commentary channels that use gameplay. Now, if you don't know what an iceberg is, then you've really missed a lot of education because of this lockdown, and I suggest you watch a David Attenborough documentary on the ASAP. But an iceberg chart is essentially a way of representing a certain subject, in this sense the commentary community. Now, the idea of an iceberg is the stuff you would usually come across surrounding the topic would be the tip of the iceberg. So for example, if you weren't knowledgeable on commentary channels, the first ones you might think of is Leafy is Here or perhaps Memulous. And as you move your way down the iceberg and under the water, you come across less known things surrounding the subject. So now we have the initial voiceover crap out of the way. I hope you enjoyed this video that took too long to edit. Now, this is my opinion, so consider my timber shivered if you feel like you need to resort to comments of hatred because I rated something below a certain level.
How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
So obviously the tip of the iceberg is what I would consider the average drama commentary channel, or Leafy is Here. Now, Leafy is no longer here, so I guess he'll become somewhat of something left in the past and belongs in our memory only. Now let's just take a moment and assume you don't know who Leafy is Here was and is. He basically pioneered commentary and had a major influence in what it is known to be today. Damn, for a second I made him sound like a fucking pilgrim. The man got exposed by iDubbbz, he isn't Columbus. But if you're wondering where the wave of commentary channels came, it was most likely the influence Leafy had. He might as well have in his Twitter bio inspired the cancer that multiplies on YouTube, who all believe that they are going to be big because they made a half funny video that got more than 5 comments. You know what? It can be abbreviated and thought out at a later date. But he made content that's considered to be edgy, and that's part of the reason why he gained such a following. I would also consider the Keemstar vs H3 content nukes as part of the tip of the commentary community, as it kind of trickled down to the videos made by almost all drama channels and was one of the most controversial things to happen directly to the community since the adpocalypse. If you don't know what happened with that, essentially it's the epitome of the term tit for tat. It was closely resembled to children arguing with the production team behind them and an audience that watches. But I would place both the content nukes and Leafy is Here up at the top as they collectively drew the most eyes. However, if I was making this video in 2016 to 2017, I would likely also include the majority of big commentary channels up there as well. But I would say, in the current climate of YouTube, they would move down to the next level of the iceberg. This is because although they still gain a lot of views, very few of them actually draw new eyes to the genre, and I would say commentary channels that succeed the most are drama commentary channels, as there is always something to talk about, and there is an influx of new eyes each video you make because the topics change more drastically than a TLC video. So moving down a level, I would place big channels and upcoming channels that don't shake the internet when they upload, but still have a following and understanding of commentary videos. So here is where I would place channels such as Memulous, I'm Alex, Pegasus, and so on. Any channel that brings in active views but doesn't quite make the internet go crazy in the same way that Leafy did or the content nukes did. Now, this is obviously based off of my perspective, as some of you may find somebody's video in this section to be better than, for example, Keemstar's, but I'm mainly speaking on what actually affects the internet and has the biggest role to play on YouTube. Now, for an average commentary channel, the most likely way you will see growth is in them uploading frequently and making good content. By frequently, I mean daily. But when you see commentary channels making daily content, it often means that their quality isn't as good. Now, if you're somebody that does this, I'm not saying your quality isn't good, but it most likely could be better just because of the fact that you're just not having as much time to edit a video. Now, me being the absolute god that I am, I intend to grow through quality, not quantity, and slip through the law of averages on YouTube. If you want to help me with that seemingly unattainable goal, click subscribe and share. On a serious note, thank you for all the support I received on my first video. I still think it's crazy that for my first video on this channel I gained so much support. But if you are new and want to sub, please only do so if you think you would actually watch and enjoy future uploads. I don't want pity. I'm not 14 with a quote on my wall that reminds me of why I live. I'm 18 with my desk covered in cans of Coke and Pepsi, sitting bollock naked after a shower recording my voice, staring at a screen that's been used more than my shoes, because I don't go outside. Anyway, on that note, we move down another level of the commentary community iceberg. Now, on this level, I put commentary channels that create really good content but just aren't being seen, and some of them most likely will blow up as they create content that is enjoyable and well made. Unfortunately, YouTube tends not to promote content like this as immediately as a channel that uploads daily, but over time these channels tend to do very well, especially as YouTube burnout is likely to exist a lot less. I would like to think that within a year I would reach this level, perhaps having a few hundred to 1,000 subscribers, but creating content that people actually want to watch and an audience that is likely and actively looking for when I upload. But I would place channels here if they create content that actually stands out, but just aren't getting the recognition they deserve. Now, there are many channels in this section of YouTube, so I place this in this level, as I'm sure many watching know channels that exist in this area, but majority overall, not many know of them. Be sure to comment any channels like this below, because I would actually like to find more channels to watch with content I myself enjoy. Now, down one more level, we reach the toxic community side of commentary. Now, my previous channel, I experienced this firsthand, when my last channel was on between 200 and 500 subscribers. So I'm not just speaking on this with no knowledge, and for any commentary channels watching this right now that may disagree with this opinion, there is unfortunately this side of commentary that is just plain cancer. Now, this is why I think it exists, and I'm going to give anecdotes to help explain. So on the lower levels of commentary, you will find channels with a few hundred subscribers, and many most likely upload regular but don't get views. Their egos are often astronomical, as they believe 200 subs somehow makes them relevant, and they look at numbers on their videos too much rather than their content. Now, I myself have been in this stage where I look at the view count and I often get left confused to why a video only had 30 views, but I have 200 subs. Now, that's not an issue. I wouldn't say it's healthy, but that's not what I'm getting at. I've simply seen many channels that in an attempt to gain more views, they target members of the community in order to draw eyes of people who know about them. Now, not all channels do this, but if you look, you'll find ones that do. I place this on this level because it's not something that the average viewer sees, it's more of something that the commentary channels witness and their smaller sized audience see. At the end of the day, subscribers are obviously going to be nice to have, but just because you have 200 doesn't mean you're somehow better than somebody with 100. That's my brief analysis of this level of the iceberg, and granted it's my opinion, but I think if you really look at the community as a whole, and what many people who are in the commentary genre have seen, they would most likely agree with me. Now, coming towards the final level, I'm placing channels that can't seem to be able to structure their videos or even make one that is understood or makes any sense. The majority of these are kids, maybe a few teenagers who most likely have YouTuber in their Instagram bio. I know that these channels are only small and doing little or no harm, but I place them here because no one really sees them, and when I have come across their channels on an uneventful Sunday, I must say that the channels are utter shit. But in time, they will hopefully learn on how to produce content to the best of their ability. I mean, for fuck's sake, I once found a channel that forgot that they were recording a video, and it was 50 minutes of them playing Fortnite before they wrapped it up. Deadly bad, Jake Paul good type of shit. Now, I hope that any of you watching right now don't feel angry with the fact that I may have missed out fundamental aspects to what you think applies to this iceberg, but I only addressed what I consider to be some of the main points. I am aware that I haven't included everything and I have missed a lot out, but this is more of a basic analysis and breakdown of the topic. And I know that goes against the whole idea of what an iceberg is, but that's what this video is. I do genuinely hope you enjoyed the content that I will make and what I have made. Granted, it's only been one video, but please do comment down below what you would like to see or what I could do to improve, because I would like to know what I can do to make my content the best it can be. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, as well as clicking the bell so you know whenever I upload.
I can't get a bitch cause I'm ugly. I can't get a bitch cause I'm ugly. Can't get a bitch, I don't give a fuck. Tweak on up because this nigga nuts. Ain't wanna be, ain't no cold cut. They know us, can't bro us. All these pussy niggas owe us. I'm the reason it's cold, bruh. I ain't fucking want a cold, bruh.